Yeah, Marc, there's something down there.
So plan C for finding the cellar. So when we dug a trench to go to the coach house, we came across what looked like a drain, but a proper old drain with the walls and big slabs on top. And it was directed roughly that way.
I remembered it being a bit more there.
Or maybe. Basically, it arrived right along the terrace.
Yeah.
And then it was interrupted where the terrace is.
Yeah.
And we know the terrace was redone in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
Because it's actually cemented. What we didn't investigate yet is what's behind the stones of the terrace and where this drain goes to.
Yeah.
But if it's a drain, it would probably go along the house. If it's not a drain, it could potentially be connected to the cellar.
I should add that my dad was here when we looked at this, and he noticed that it looks in shape and length and direction like a drain that runs under the tower on the other side, out of the toilet there. And so our working hypothesis is that it was meant to be a drain for a tower that either was never built or was built and knocked down at a later point. So that's where we were working at before. But having had these stories about the cellar and things, you start to wonder, could it have been something to do with that? Could it have been an event? Could it have been something else? And so we covered it back in to keep it there. So yeah, and how do you want to look at it then?
So basically I would like to do the same we did here, but on the other side of the terrace, which is basically scrape the topsoil.
Yep.
Then we should find the end of that drain.
And then take down a couple of terrace stones.
Take a couple of stones out and see what's underneath.
Cool. Yeah.
And hope they haven't been removed. And
are you all right for me to sit and watch rather than help, because I've still got my...
Yeah, if you're happy to.
Still not very well.
you can even comment.
Okay, that would be great. I might get a chair. I've got a sort of dizziness thing where I can't stand up terribly easily.
So, Jason, are you ready for Plan C?
Plan C, yeah, I think so.
Hope we find something this time.
Yeah. There's nothing yet.
So it looks like I'm hitting something that might have been interesting, because when we dug the drain, we found some stone with the remains of lime like this, and so it might be that when they redid the terrace, they broke the drain and just blocked it with everything, because these are building stones. So yeah, I think we need to try and look. Moi chérie, this is
careful.
What we might be interested in.
So you're saying these stones may have been part of the tunnel?
It might be where the drain was cemented.
think it might be deeper or just in a different direction?
Probably deeper because it was below that level here.
Yeah.
But
Might need to.
yeah, just
do a
want
few
to
more
see what
digs.
the wall looks like. Yeah, these are building stones. So yeah, there's something around here.
Yeah, Mark, there's something down there. So if we,
What did you see? A big
right here,
yeah.
well, it looked like a large white stone. Maybe it was just this, I'm not sure. Could have been just a layer of lime.
This I think that's something.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark, keep digging right there. That's the spot I was saying. I think there might be something flat there. Every once in a while, it looks like there's something flat. And I think it's this thing right here.
Yeah, that's a different material. What I'm going to do is push the soil and then we'll brush.
Yeah.
Viens nous aider, ça
Oh,
c'est gentil, hello. Do you remember where it was?
I remember it is coming around here somewhere and out to about here. But I'm sure it was like here somewhere. In fact, if you asked me, I would have said something like this to there.
I dug out quite a lot of stones that look like building stones.
Yeah.
And I guess when they redid the terrace, they probably demolished it around where it is.
Yeah. And so your theory is that if it was a vent, it would eventually join the house.
Yeah.
Do you think then it's worth just scraping the top on this side a bit, although it destroys these nice flowers?
Not really, because I'll keep digging. I thought it was closer to the house, but I'll push the soil towards the outside and keep digging on that side. Here it is. Got a big stone. There was this stone here, which looks like the ones we had on top of the drain.
Whilst you were looking for the digger bucket that you didn't find, I found a photo of this, a very good photo. And I just want to, where did you think it was? I'm just interested.
I thought it was going from about that direction to somewhere, I'd have said more that around here, but you might be right that thinking of it again, It might have been right by the corner.
Because for me, I remembered it joining at the corner, but I thought it came this direction, or at least straight on.
Yeah.
So basically we were both right. It was your direction, but it arrived at the corner.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And so it arrives just here,
Yep.
up to about there. And it started, it wasn't a very steep angle, but I think it would have started, I think I looked from here, started about here somewhere. It came between that stone and there. That's where it arrives. Because it was coming this direction, that can only have been backfill unless it's something that suddenly took a turn left.
Yeah, so that's what I'm wondering, because so the two stones were here and here.
Yeah.
But I think that this one is bedrock and not stone.
Yeah.
So it might be that there's something carved in the bedrock that goes back that way.
I think the only way to find out is to just dig this bit more comprehensively.
Yeah.
I don't think
and
it's the worst thing.
Probably more delicately.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So if it goes that way into the house, we'd expect
something to be in the
something
corner.
to be here.
I could go and get a trowel and have a little clean down of the wall.
Sounds like a good idea. It's raining.
It looks like it's going to, for sure.
Well done for your research.
I had to go through 3 years worth of photos. A nest of eggs, I'm guessing snakes then. Marc? Come and look. Not the cellar, it's nothing cellar related, it's...
Oh, that's cute.
Are they snake eggs? Or lizards or something?
Or lizard, yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Shall I just try and cover it back up again then? Do they hatch by themselves? They don't have, the parents don't come back, so I could move them somewhere.
Yeah, but they need to be kept moist.
Je peux voir.
Yeah, attention. Hop.
C'est quoi?
C'est des œufs de lézard ou de serpent. You could put them in a little clay pot as you wait.
They're not like chicken eggs. They've got very thin covers. These are amazing. If only our chickens laid this many eggs. There we go.
What do you want, Mommy?
Can I hand that up to somebody, please? If you want to know some of our chickens' names, that's Chocolate Leghorn, that's Tree Hen, Orloff, Villain, and Mr. Fluffy Head. Oh, it's right under you. They're all the eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and no ants. Oh. We've opened up an ant's nest as well.
So yeah, basically there's a type of ants that they have mandibles that are really sharp, and but they're not able to feed themselves with them. They're just like daggers,
War machines,
basically.
yeah.
And they're just able to kill other ants or insects with them, but they can't eat by themselves. And so in order to eat, they raid other ants' nests from other species, and they steal all the eggs from the ants' nest. So they kill everybody, steal the eggs, and then they raise the eggs by and they impregnate them with their pheromones, which means that when they hatch, the ants identify themselves as the belonging to the other ant nest.
Huh.
And then basically they
enslave them.
All the
yeah,
children
basically
work for the-
Work
yeah,
for
they
the
work for
kidnapper.
the kidnappers, and they make they gather food and chew it
Feed
for
them
them and
and-
feed them.
Wow. So this is either the family of the kidnapper.
So
and-
it's probably the
Or a raiding
kidnapper.
process.
No, it's probably the kidnapper ones with
With
living
enslaved
together with the
babies.
other ones. Yeah.
Wow.
What's the name of it again? The type of ant?
I don't know in English. They're called esclavagistes in France, so slave masters.
Slave masters.
Yeah.
You learn something every day with Mark.
I really do.
We found a really big stone that looks like it could be a part of the drain system that was there. And in fact, this one as well is nice, relatively flat and wide. That is incredibly flat on the top. Did you see that side of it?
It's a beautiful stone.
I should emphasise here that we're not destroying anything pristine like an archaeological find, because this was all backfilled. It was all just rubble used to fill up a relatively modern terrace. We would never be doing something archaeological with a digger.
We just dynamite.
We just don't.
We had to interrupt the work yesterday because it was getting quite late. So today is a new day and we need to carry on the excavation. It's getting a bit more fiddly, so I think I'm just going to scoop out some more of the dirt and then we'll carry on with the trowels. Okay, I think we'll carry on by hand now.
Marc's gone off with the digger to other places. It's needed elsewhere. There's always more than one thing going on here. So Margot and I are doing the more delicate work of scraping around the edges and trying to get to the bottom without damaging something, which is always the risk with a digger, especially because the granite is quite crumbly. Maybe we'll find it ourselves. Well, I've just dug up my brush.
Oh.
I once worked on an excavation in the north of Bulgaria many years ago, and it was a big Roman site, and luckily it wasn't our year, but the year before, they had spent the whole summer excavating, And at the bottom of the hole, they found a railway coupling, which means that what they were excavating instead of Roman site was actually the early 20th century excavations of the Roman site. So they were basically just excavating the rubbish tip.
Oh my god.
They spent the whole summer and they found a railway coupling underneath it. Basically, you're just shoveling dirt onto me, so I shovel it out the hole.
Yeah, I was putting it in a nice pile for you. Work smarter, not harder. Well, you work harder. I just
You work smarter, I work harder. Lovely. We're now inside one of the Chateau's towers, and it was an old guard tower. And if you go back and back and back to one of our first ever videos, which I'll link to here, we told the story of this, because inside here is the remains of a medieval toilet. Underneath the toilet, obviously, they needed a drain to go outside. And in here, there was a vent that went right up to the roof inside the wall. So the hypothesis is, because my dad measured the direction of this drain under here, because we can see where it comes out outside as well. And he said it's basically the same kind of angle to the main building as the one we found out there. So the idea is that this was built, that the drain over there was built for a building that either existed and was demolished, or maybe they built both drains thinking they were going to build two towers and then never got around to the last one. So what's interesting to me is to see what it looks like when it gets to the bedrock. I'd love to go and see more of that outside. In here, there's a metal grate that shows you where the vent is that goes all the way up, because obviously it needed to draw in clean air to drag away the stinky air, which we found before. On this side, that is where there was a window before above the toilet that we saw inside. We've currently blocked it up, which means that the drain comes somewhere around here. And at some point, what I would love to do, now we've seen that, is to excavate a little bit here and see what the end of that drain looks like. Not because I think I'm going to find the cellar, but because I think it'll be interesting to see what the drain looks like compared to that one. You can see I've got Margot to stand where we found the start of that drain. And if you see, she's right in line with where I am. And that if there was a drain in the same, and where Marc is where we've just found one end of it. So if it was a tower or a planned tower there, it would work in exactly the same position, which I think is quite interesting. Well, what we've found is that there's just a carved bit of bedrock here that leads to the start of the drain, well, which we're pretty sure is a drain now.
Yep.
I think, given that it's been built quite a long way away from the main building as it is now, that if it was a drain, it was for either another building or when this one looked different. So either there was one, as we know on the other side, there were buildings wrapped around the side. There could have been one here as well, or it could have been another tower that was either planned or built. But to me, it's quite obvious that this was not for the building as it looks now, because if you're going to make the effort to dig into the bedrock, you would do it closer than that.
And what I'd be quite keen on doing is to actually reuse this drain, because we have a gutter coming here that just pours on on the floor, and it wouldn't be much work to dig a tiny bit of trench to bring a pipe down the drain here and put it back in use.
Yeah, and avoid flooding and stuff, And what it makes me really interested to do, although we didn't find a cellar or any connection with the cellar, I'm quite excited about doing a bit more looking around the building. And this is where we can start to look at the idea of geophysical imaging techniques, isn't it, when it's outdoors?
Yeah.
So if we can try and get the university to help us with that.
Yeah, I'd love that. We might need to rent the equipment ourselves because the team at the university doesn't have ground penetrating radar. And the other team that has one is not very interested in that time period.
What if we tell them there's gold somewhere?
Not sure they'd be more interested.
Well, we could maybe look into renting it at some point, especially if we're going to do it just before we re-landscape everything around the main building. Because there were so many other buildings. We know that even in Napoleonic times at the beginning of the 19th century, there were so many other buildings here, weren't there?
Yeah, it would be really interesting to map all of this before we do any major groundwork.
And the reason that we haven't done ground penetrating radar before is because we thought the most likely entrance would be in the cellar, and you can't do it within the house, can you?
No, because you get basically ground penetrating radar is sending sound waves into the ground, and when you're inside the building, it resonates it bounces on the walls and everywhere. So you get a very, the image you get is very difficult to interpret. Well, we still have reasonably believable witnesses who say there was a cellar. I think it would be weird for there not to be a cellar in a castle that size, but we'll have to look for an entrance somewhere else.
So we've also got other chances we've got are taking down the remaining massive concrete slab in this current cellar.
Yeah.
But we can't do that until we've moved out, can we? Because of the because we've got the freezers on it and stuff.
But it would be unpractical.
And then doing the ground penetrating radar, if we were to discover something like a tunnel, it could lead to it, so it could show where to dig.
The other possibility I had been thinking is actually in the hallway at the base. Who
wants to just dig up the entire
at the base
building?
of the staircase, because just because there's already one staircase here, and so there could be another staircase going down at that place, and also because the tiles sound hollow towards the
Is that what you and John were doing this morning?
Yeah.
I heard them in the corner tapping on the ground and muttering about don't tell Amy, and could we drill a hole here somewhere?
Yeah, so don't be surprised if you see a mouse hole in the tiles at some point. It will definitely be a mouse.
So have I managed to with us doing this now, has it satisfied you temporarily? So can we go back to doing the coach house?
No, because we didn't find it.